Before we get to the show for today, I want to thank our sponsor, Anchor.fm. As you probably have heard by now, SportsWire has moved to Anchor.fm for its podcast hosting and distribution. It's the easiest way to make a podcast, and let me explain why. Main reason is that it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer, and then Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on any platform there is. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, anywhere. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So take it from me, Vinny Apicella from the Sports Wire. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you are listening to the most electrifying podcast in all of internet radio today. You are listening to the Sports Wire. My name is Vinny Apicella, and I want to thank you for tuning in. Today is Tuesday, March 20, I believe we're the 24th, right? 2020. Actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, it is the 24th, because then Wednesday's the 20th. Let me just double check that. Yes, Tuesday the 24th. Sometimes when you're sitting in isolation, you forget what day it is. But it's currently 4 a.m. Eastern Time, and we're in this social isolation, the new normal that we're living in now, right here from New Britain, Connecticut. Although I'm not in... Although with Connecticut, we do have the stay-home order, but I do... go to work because I work in one of the essential businesses, which is a hotel. So actually, I did get some hours back. I'll be working Tuesday and Thursday nights, although it's going to be so slow. I'll still be able to put out a podcast. So, anyways, today I did not watch Monday Night Raw, and the reason why, and I'm going to be completely transparent here, is I prefer to watch the Hulu version with no commercials. Number one, but number two. I sleep during the evening. So even though, I'm not working tonight because I've been working overnights for so long, my body has a natural tendency to get tired around 3 p.m. So I end up sleeping like 3 to 11. So that's unfortunately what it is. I did not watch Raw tonight. So I'll watch it tomorrow when it posts on Hulu. And I'll probably end up watching it at work. So I'll be able to give you a Raw recap with tomorrow's episode. So with that said, I want to find out how everybody's doing in your quarantine / social isolation / lockdown. Being that I've been in prison, I know what a lockdown is like, and people, please don't, I understand going stir crazy, but you can still get out of your house, walk the dog, walk around parks if they're open. And, you can still go to the grocery store, you can go to the bank, try to just be smart about it. Don't go to doctor's offices if you don't have to. I had to cancel a doctor's appointment myself. I'm in the process of trying to get bariatric surgery to lose weight, weight loss surgery, get half of my stomach cut out. And I was supposed to go in for a consultation for a gastroenterologist so that they could get a upper endoscopy for me, which is one of the procedures on the process. And they don't do it virtually, so I canceled and I postponed that consultation because I don't feel comfortable going into doctor's offices right now. And it's, I know it seems like paranoia, but you know what? It's better be safe than sorry. I work with the public, and I have a son to take care of. And I don't want to come off as one of these people that, I'm living into the total media fear and everything. No, that's not the case. But just be safe. Wash your hands. Use your hand sanitizer. Use your Lysol wipes, whatever. Even supermarkets, for themselves to, to wipe off. The cart handles are running out of, the wipe. So just, be mindful of other people if you're, and support local restaurants because they're still open for takeout and delivery. Use DoorDash. A lot of places are now, if you go through their apps, they're offering zero, free delivery. Utilize it if you don't feel like cooking. I mean, I would prefer cooking at home myself, but if you're so inclined and you're able to afford it, help them out. I did listen to most of Jim Cornette's drive-through yesterday when it was released, and he gave an interesting perspective on the whole Evil Uno and Braun Strowman situation. Nobody. Here's the deal. I am not one to beg for money. I'm not one to go on to, Patreon is different because you're able to provide content or whatever. But I'm not one to go on to GoFundMe and just ask for money like a fundraiser, because I need whatever. If I can't pay my bills because I'm not working, because of whatever reason other than a pandemic, it's my fault, But, I see a lot of people that misuse the GoFundMe, to just get money to pay their monthly bills for whatever reason, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Yes, people need to be held accountable for their actions, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't get held accountable because people help them out. And while, yes, you have a good heart for helping people out, you're not really helping them because you're just giving them money to help them for that moment. It goes back to the saying: if you give a man a fish, you help him for one meal. If you teach a man to fish, you help him for the rest of his life. Or I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that's what it comes down to. Is if you're going to give somebody money, you're helping them for that one time. But give someone a job, show them where to apply for a job. Then you're helping them for the long term, if they have a good work ethic, of course. And I agree during this coronavirus. See, here's what I don't like, and what I feel is completely classless by a lot of these indie wrestlers putting out GoFundMes and stuff to help them out. Yes, nobody foresaw WrestleMania weekend being changed like it was to go to the Performance Center. Nobody, expected. Nobody expected all the stuff surrounding WrestleMania to be canceled because of this pandemic. Nobody expected a pandemic, except for the Chinese who utilized it and sent it out to the world as a biological war weapon. But I digress. So I get it, and a lot of people who normally, work their normal jobs aren't doing that because of the fact, a lot of them are closed, so they're not working. But they will be able to get the stimulus from the government and unemployment and stuff, so there will be help. But what I don't like is that these people are going on GoFundMe and asking other people who are in the same situation that have lost their jobs or not working and not getting money to help support them. To me, that's a problem. And to me, that's something where, they should have more class than that. Because, you got to understand everybody's in the same boat. Braun Strowman, I agree with him completely. People need to, if they don't have enough money, they have to change their careers. It's hard when nobody's hiring, except for like supermarkets and stuff to help with the demand. But it's hard when nobody's hiring, to earn money. So, I see both sides of it. And maybe that was a little mistimed by him saying, people should get out there and get a job. I get that, understandably. But during this time, it's hard. So either way, I see both sides, and I'm just going to stay out of it. If you have enough, if you have an abundance, If you have stuff to help, go help. That's the only thing I'll say. Okay, so with that said, let's see. There were two new. I do know that there were two new matches for WrestleMania weekend set up. The tag team champions on Raw, the Street Profits, are defending their tag team championship against Andrade and Angel Garza. Andrade being the United States champion, I know he was out for a while because of his drug issue. His drug test violation or wellness policy, violation. But he's a U.S. champion. Couldn't they find someone to, couldn't they find someone to, sorry, I'm just zippering something in the background. Couldn't they find someone that he could defend the title against instead of just kind of poo-pooing the belt and putting the champion in a tag match? I mean, come on, this is WrestleMania. Andrade and Rey Mysterio for the U.S. title. We've seen it, but at least, but I don't know. Anywho, I'll be back to go over more WrestleMania stuff and more, just more stuff. I'll be right back. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it, and we'll be back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am back. Again, my name is Vinny Apsella. Thank you for listening to the Sports Wire. And today being Tuesday morning, today is going to be day one of WWE recording WrestleMania, which means if you're someone who does not want to know about spoilers or anything, I would recommend staying away from Twitter and the dirt sheet websites, because, I mean, granted, they're going to be closed sets. No fans, nothing can really leak unless people call idiots like Meltzer or whatever to leak the results, which I hope nobody does. I hope they cherish the sanctity of WrestleMania and do not do that. It's going to be different. You're not going to hear the huge pop when Drew McIntyre beats Brock Lesnar. You're not going to hear, a huge pop if The Undertaker comes back as the Biker Taker. You know what I mean? Which, honestly, if they're going to do it at full sale, at the PC, there's not really a big enough ramp for a motorcycle to come down. So we'll see. I mean, they're going to split over 2 days. Apparently, they're going to do multiple locations, all closed sets. So I don't know what they're going to do. Like, I honestly don't know. The one thing I really have to say that I liked about AEW's closed set, their Dynamite set, which let me just point it out, that WWE and AEW both are going to be taping a number of shows in advance, so that in case the whole country goes on a pure lockdown, and I mean, like, you can't go anywhere. Like, as of right now, there are only a few states that have that shelter-in-place ordinance where you can only go for essential, you know what I mean? Wrestling, even though to us wrestling fans, it is essential, entertainment itself is not considered essential. General Hospital is not filming right now. So, I want to applaud AEW and WWE for putting so many episodes in the can and recording them ahead of time so that for the next, 3 to 4 weeks, we can have new programming and not reruns. Although it wouldn't be bad to kind of put, like I said yesterday, put old Raws and Nitros on to kind of, well, then again, a lot of those are probably not politically correct. And it probably won't go over good in today's society, but I digress. But anyways, what I want to say is AEW on their closed set, they actually still use pyro, which I wasn't expecting because, there's no fans there, so why waste the money on pyro? But I guess, for the presentation, they still had wrestlers in the audience and stuff, but I would have not gone with the pyro and just, save that money. Especially for, AEW, who are just starting out, so I'm sure they're not profitable yet. So why spend the money when you don't have to? Like WWE, on any of their performance shows, they're maybe using smoke and fog machines, but they're not using pyro. But they did get a huge tractor trailer painted, or, tractor trailer front, cab, whatever you want to call it, painted for Becky Lynch. I'm sure that was quite an expense because I didn't see anything saying it was promoted or sponsored by. But whatever, it is what it is. So this is the new normal. I want to point out something too. If you're someone who's following Twitter, following the news, and listening to all the updates about the coronavirus or COVID-19, if you will, please, please, please do not mishear or listen to the media. President Trump pointed out that there was a certain medication that was being that has been effective. That has been effective for treating the coronavirus, and it was hydroxychloroquine slash azithromycin, and there was a couple in Italy, I believe it was Italy. Somebody died. A guy died that somebody had bought chloroquine itself, which is used to clean fish tanks, and he ended up dying. So here's what it is. A doctor, a New York doctor, shared with Hannity, and I think the doctor was Dr. Zelenko of Orange County, New York. He went on to the Sean Hannity, and he said that 200 milligrams 2 times daily of hydroxychloroquine, 500 milligrams of azithromycin, 220 milligrams of zinc sulfate. And in 350 patients, the breathing restored in 3 to 4 hours, 0 deaths, 0 hospitalizations, and 0 intubations. Now, of course, it's a doctor. And President Trump had gone over that and said that the combination of hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin was helping to cure people, or at least help people survive the coronavirus who already have it. This one person went in or decided to just take the chloroquine, and he died because he just used it, and it's fish tank cleaner. It's poisonous by itself without the hydroxy with it, and they didn't go through a doctor to get a prescription, and they also didn't have the freaking virus. So, please, 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 people, be smart and use your heads. I'm not going to say that Donald Trump is misleading you, but don't take his word for it, especially when he's relaying messages from the doctors. So yes, he's giving you accurate descriptors, words, accurate news, accurate findings, but he's not the doctor. The doctor can go into detail about the proper protocol to use. So, please, and then don't blame him if you do something wrong, because you're an idiot for doing it on your own without talking to a doctor. So that's what that is. People are still blaming this virus on Trump, even though Trump had the quickest response to this virus in putting sanctions on people coming over from the Asian countries, especially China, where this originated. Which is why in the entire country of millions of people, there have only been thousands, not even 10,000s, thousands, 2,000 people in the country that have gotten this, and only, I'm sorry, maybe 3,500 people in the country, but only less than 200 deaths, or a little over 200 deaths or something. In Connecticut alone, we have maybe 350 people who have contracted the disease, with only 10 deaths in the state. Again, out of millions. So we know the numbers are going to increase over the next week or so. And the reason why I say that is that we have more people that are being tested now, and we have more tests available. Before, they were only testing people who had the symptoms or came in with bad symptoms. So they could have had it for a while and gotten over the back end, and, it was too late for them or whatever. And the majority of people are elderly. Although there is one pediatric girl who's fighting for her life, I think 10 or 12 years old, with no underlying condition. So this thing is constantly changing, and it could be mutating. We don't know. We don't know what's going on. So like I said, this is uncharted territory for our country, and we have to be diligent. We have to work together and unite, and not fight. The Democrats and the government and the Senate and the House of Representatives are showing how divided they are by this coronavirus bill. Is meant to help people who are not working right now. Give them a stimulus now, direct deposit it into their accounts, and unfortunately, the Democrats stalled it. They turned it down because they wanted to add in their processes to make sure Planned Parenthood is funded, to make sure that the airplanes are being tested for emissions, and all this other stuff that has nothing to do with the coronavirus. They want to sneak them in there. And that's exactly what, the problem is, that they're not taking this serious. They're not helping Americans. Trump wanted this done so that he could get money into Americans' hands now. Stimulus to companies so they could pay their workers benefits, or pay them sick time, or pay them, however they have to. That's what the stimulus was for. That's why it was going to a lot of money was going to corporations and companies to pay for their workers that are out sick, or just out on furlough. Unemployment is being stepped up because of it. So with that said, the Democrats are holding up this bill because they want to add in stuff that have nothing to do with the coronavirus. Just absolutely ridiculous. If you live in California and you listen to the Sports Wire, please, please, please spread the word and get Nancy Pelosi out of office. I mean, somebody's got to get her out of office, and somebody's got to beat her in terms of an election. I'm not going to say physically, but somebody's got to get her out of office. People in New York, get rid of Chuck Schumer. Friend of mine on Snapchat, well, now an ex-friend, decided to unfriend me because I pointed out how great Trump is handling this situation. And I pointed out that he handled this a lot quicker and a lot better than Obama did with Ebola or the swine flu. So, it is what it is. Anywho, I want to thank you all for listening. These are, like I said, daily episodes, shorter episodes. It's not going to be an hour. Hopefully tomorrow night I will have something good, something, focused for you. All right. My name is Vinny Apicella. Please feel free to follow me on Twitter at VApicella SWE, on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow the SportsWire at SportsWire Audio. Go to sportswireaudio.com, which goes to our anchor.fm page. And subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, everywhere you find your favorite podcasts, we are there. I think the only one right now that we're not on is iHeartRadio. But with that said, thank you very much for everything, and thank you for listening. My name is Vinny Apicella. Please, please, please stay safe. Use your common sense. Wash those hands, and don't touch your face. We'll see you tomorrow, folks, on the Sports Wire.